So I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I honestly was not planning on reviewing SmackDown Live after it went off the air last night for many reasons. Number one, I literally early yesterday recorded an almost 40 plus minute review of Monday Night Raw and how terrible and how shit the show was, and how literally, when you think about it, I said this in the review yesterday, right? That watching Monday Night Raw is like doing community service, right? And keep this in mind, prior to me reviewing Raw, I was at the dentist. It turns out this mother flower is going to get a root canal. Yesterday they did phase 1. They killed the nerves inside the cavity that I have in my tooth, what have you. And this coming Monday I'm going for phase 2. Let's see how that goes and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's what happened. And also, once SmackDown Live went off the air, I was playing FIFA 18. And the reality is, I've been playing FIFA 18 for a while now, even after the World Cup and stuff like that. And I'm just looking forward to FIFA 19. I know all of you right now are looking forward to 2K19 for WWE. Me, on the other hand, Mother Flowers, I'm just looking forward to FIFA 19. I know once the game drops in September, I will be doing a lot of gameplay on FIFA 19, especially now that FIFA has the Champions League, the Europa League, and all that stuff. Cannot wait. However, I know today, August the 8th, PES Pro Evolution dropped the demo for PES 19. And I know a lot of people out there are not really big on PES or Pro Evolution. I have some friends that play it, that are into it. They prefer it more than FIFA. I'm a FIFA guy, but I'm willing to give PES a chance. I might just download the demo just a little bit and see how bad or how it's just there, if you will. I know this had nothing to do with SmackDown Live, but I just want to get it out there, okay? So this is your SmackDown Live review for August the 7th, 2018. I'm going to say this, okay? While SmackDown I felt like was a solid show, to say the least. It wasn't the greatest show, if you will. It had a great main event, don't get me the fuck wrong, between the New Day and the Bar in the finale of the SmackDown Tag Title #1 Contenders match to see who was going to get fed to the Bludgeon Brothers at SummerSlam for the tag titles. I felt like the show overall was solid. While Monday Night Raw, they're not giving a shit. They are just saying, fuck it. Whatever the fuck they're doing, let us just get it to SummerSlam, right? While SmackDown Live is actually putting in a fucking effort. They are trying to get the fans, or the so-called WWE Universe, excited, invested, hyped up for SummerSlam. Hell, I will say that after watching SmackDown Live last night, some of the stuff that I did see, I'm actually am excited for SummerSlam, believe it or not. Now, granted, if anything is more from the SmackDown side, not the Raw side, there's been matches added now. Like I said, we have the Bludgeon Brother versus the New Day. And we have The Miz versus Daniel Bryan officially confirmed. And I'll be real about it, a part of me now, in some weird way, wants to go to SummerSlam now. It might just happen. I'm not sure. Again, it's final minute. I will be in attendance, however, for TakeOver Brooklyn 4 the Saturday before SummerSlam. So if you're going to be at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, that Saturday, feel free, if you see me, say what's up. Or what up, mother flower? Whatever. It is what it is. Might be high as all shit that day, but we'll fucking see. SmackDown Live kicked off tonight. Well, last night, that is. By the way, give me your thoughts down below in the comment threads. If your thoughts on SmackDown Live, if you enjoyed the show, if you hated the show, what have you, okay? But SmackDown Live kicked off with Randy Orton. And Randy Orton, you gotta remember, these past couple of weeks, been beating up on Jeff Hardy. Beating him up. And I'm just going to say this right now. I think after Tommaso Ciampa, right now is the best heel in WWE. Following Ciampa right now, it has to be Randy Orton. It has to be. And Orton talked about how he has a vow to take out everyone that people put on this fucking pedestal, everyone that people cheer for, all these superheroes, right? He's gonna be so violent that he's gonna make people want to change the fucking channel. He's gonna make people want to change the fucking channel. That's right. He's gonna want you all to change over to Pop TV, watch Impact Wrestling, which I will say, and I know I don't want to mix Impact in this shit, but say what you want about Impact Wrestling right now, but they have been very consistent with their stuff. Hats off to them on that. He talks about Jeff Hardy and all this and whatnot. And I'm just going to say this, it's weird that it's Nakamura and Hardy at SummerSlam for the U.S. title. And I'm here like, what about Randy Orton? Because this whole time, right, it's been Orton attacking Hardy. But instead, at SummerSlam, we're doing Nakamura and Jeff Hardy for the U.S. title for whatever reason. This has to be a triple threat match. Just like on Monday Night Raw, Drew McIntyre is being left out of the Intercontinental Championship match. Now, I'm not saying that Randy Orton has to be the fucking U.S. champion. No, I'm not saying that right now, but you got to add him into that mix. You just have to. And I know that literally next Tuesday is the Go Home show, so maybe on the Go Home show, they make a change, and it's a triple threat match for the U.S. title between Nakamura, almost a style for some reason, Hardy and Randy Orton, and as well on Monday Night Raw, they add in Drew McIntyre into the Intercontinental Championship match with Rollins and Ziggler. And I'm going to say this too, let's assume for a moment, right, that Randy Orton, after this program, and let's assume for a moment here that AJ Styles, if he gets through Samoa Joe, that's the next program you should make, in my honest opinion. Randy Orton and AJ Styles could be a very good fucking program. If done correctly, that is, right? Again, you really can't trust these fucking people in creative, but I think essentially that could be a very good program for the WWE Championship. It's a fresh feud that no one has seen yet. So why the fuck not? All right? WWE, after SummerSlam, if AJ Styles is still WWE Champion, give me AJ Styles versus fucking Randy Orton WWE. That's all I'm asking for heading into the fall. Mother flowers. After this, we get the first match of the night. We get Charlotte and Becky Lynch going one-on-one against the failures, the frauds. In other words, the Iconics. How do you spell Iconics? Well, I'm going to tell you. You spell Iconics, capital F, capital A, capital I, capital L, capital U, capital R, capital E. In other words, you spell it also capital B, capital U, capital R, capital I, capital E, capital D. That's how you spell Iconics. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. And I'm going to say this, okay? Ever since they've been brought up to the main roster, there's been this hope that people were, okay, they're going to follow up what they did in NXT. And NXT, it got over like a fucking, it got over like ice cream on a summer day. Literally, the Iconics I'm talking about. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, right? The way they instigate and they start shit and making fun. And it got to a point last night where people were chanting boring. People were chanting boring at Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. In Orlando, by the way. In fucking Orlando. WWE, you have failed with the Iconics. Then again, to say the least, I'm going to say this too. They wrestle like amateurs. That's how they've been put out to be, in my honest opinion. Okay? Peyton Royce is probably the standout of the two. Billie Kay just wrestles like a diva, in my honest opinion. Take it for what it's worth. But before all this, right, there's a backstage segment where Charlotte was talking to Becky. As you all know, literally last week, Charlotte Reigns, Charlotte Flair, Charlotte Reigns, if you will. Let's call her Charlotte Reigns for the point of this video, if you will, right? Charlotte Reigns beat Carmella. She pinned Carmella. She made Carmella hit with the figure eight. And now she got added into the championship match at SummerSlam with Becky Lynch. She took away Becky's spotlight, what have you. And Becky just looks, she's serious about it. She's, again, she's happy she had her moment, but at the same time, she wanted to have Carmella to herself, right? The match, again, outside, we go to the match, and this whole time, again, the failure, the Iconics, that is, right? We're making fun of the fact that Becky it will forever be the bridesmaid but never a bride, living under the shadow of Charlotte Flair. And what do you know? What the fuck do you know? Right? The Iconics lose. The Iconics lose again. They've been losing since the moment they joined the main roster. And they put the icing on the cake here. To put the fucking icing on the cake. Or the cherry on top, if you will. You had Charlotte Flair locking the figure 8. Literally locking the figure 8 on Peyton Royce. While Becky Lynch was just standing there watching the whole thing after a blind tag. Now, now people are asking, hey, Becky should be mad. Becky should be furious. Didn't look like it to me. It looked like Becky was just happy having the fucking win. Right? And by the way, you had Carmella at ringside on commentary throughout this whole thing as well. Right? And so there you go with that. Again, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair defeated the failures, the frauds, the buried, the Iconics. I don't even know what's going to happen with them. I don't even know. I mean, you could say, or you could make the argument that, hey, I know Connor said this, I know OK Faith said it on Twitter, that you can use the Iconics to instigate, right, the separation of, again, of Becky and Charlotte. But at the same time, they only have a week left. So they better get to it, honestly, but I don't fucking know. The way I look at this right now, I feel like Becky has to win at SummerSlam to tell the story. Becky has to come out on top with the championship. And you know what? You can set up a championship match between Charlotte and Becky at Evolution, for all fuck's sakes, right? You know what I mean? But at the same time, if the idea is for WrestleMania next year to do Charlotte and Ronda Rousey, because they're going to go that route, then Charlotte has to win that at the same time. She has to look strong, right? She has to look strong. Charlotte Reigns has to fucking look strong, motherflower. So we'll see how that shit goes down the road. From there, we get a Zelina Vega versus Lana rematch. Because why the fuck not, right? And unlike last week the match was terrible. I said this, the match just sucked. It was cringe. This time I stand corrected. I thought this match, the rematch, was better in some way, shape, or form than the original match they had last week. I feel like these two women might have had some matches during the house shows prior to this episode of SmackDown Live to work out some kinks, to get better, what have you. And I thought overall it was a better match. Before the match even took place, backstage at Rusev try to apologize to Lana for not being supportive after last week, and he promised to be in Lana's corner because every day is Lana Day. And then English comes out and he just wants to apologize. He literally wants Lana and Rusev to hear him out. He feels bad for what happened these past couple of weeks, all stemming from Extreme Rules when Aiden English in some way cost Rusev the championship, and all this bad stuff happening, right? And Rusev forgives him. They forgive him, right? But they want Aiden to stay in the back for this one, to stay in the back. When you hear that, you already know what's going to happen. You already know that Aiden English is going to come out there and get involved in some way, shape, or form. But the match itself, Lana and Zelina Vega, is better than their match from last week. Nothing go crazy for here. There was a moment where both Andrade and Rusev, they got involved on the outside. I want to say that Zelina Vega jumped on top of Rusev, almost something like that. But there was a moment where Lana's was going to the top rope, on the top rope, and Aiden English pushes Rusev to Andrade, or pushes Andrade, right? And the whole notion of all things happening, Andrade, I guess, tips over the rope or something like that, and Lana falls, right? Lana falls and shit, which causes Zelina Vega to hit the double knee stomp on the corner for the win. So Zelina Vega gets another win. Now I'll be honest about it too. From what it looks like, they're aiming to SummerSlam to do a intergender tag team match, a mixed tag, if you will, right? Zelina Vega and Andrade versus Rusev and Lana, which I'm okay with in some degree. Granted, when you think about Andrade coming into the main roster after having arguably the match of the year in NXT with Johnny Gargano and just literally just been tearing it up, right? You expect someone like Andrade to have a better profile match at SummerSlam, right? Being that SummerSlam is arguably the second biggest show of the year following WrestleMania. But you know what? I'm okay with this. As long as he's on the show, he's on the main card, why the fuck not? Take it for what it is. But it looks like there's more trouble again in Aiden English and Rusev down the road. Like I said earlier, it was announced that Jeff Hardy and Nakamura was announced for SummerSlam. It looked like also during this whole thing as well, R-Truth wanted to challenge Nakamura for the U.S. title. Apparently after he pins Carmella, which I giggled for. Again, R-Truth is a comedy act, but we had that match later on for tonight between R-Truth and Shinsuke Nakamura. Non-title match, by the way. Fucking non-title match. After this, we had a freaking interview with The Miz by Byron Saxton, right? But the whole time, The Miz was not even in the arena. Well, actually he was, but they're making it seem like he's on the set of Miz and Mrs., right? Because again, Miz and Mrs. airs literally after SmackDown Live goes off the air, right? So the idea is he's on the set. He talks about the match happening at SummerSlam, how he's going to make Bryan relevant again, how all this stemmed from their beginning in NXT, in the original NXT. Hey, the story tells itself, right? The story of Bryan and Miz tells itself. Is one of the most underrated stories in WWE right now, right? It really is. Now, we don't even know if Bryan is going to resign with WWE. People are saying that he is. We don't fucking know. If the idea is that he is not re-signing with WWE, I would not be surprised if Miz goes over here. Would not be surprised about it. It should be a fun match, all the hell you want. But again, this is one of those things you don't even know. Could it be one of Bryan's final pay-per-view matches on WWE? We'll fucking see. But again, I'm happy that they're making the match. Now, if Bryan does resign, you can have Bryan get the win, and somewhere down the road, you have Miz challenge for the championship. Even though I prefer I'd rather it be Randy Orton. Fucking I say hippie. I don't know why I fucking said that shit, but you kind of get the idea. From there, if that doesn't go through, maybe Miz, but you can go back to the match at WrestleMania for sure between Miz and Bryan. Now, people have been wanting to see that at WrestleMania. Why are we giving it away at SummerSlam? Because at the same time, it's precaution. Just to get it out of the way in the case of Bryan doesn't fucking re-sign with WWE. But again, I'm happy for the match. While Miz was talking, out of nowhere, in comes Daniel Bryan. And he beats up the Miz. Beats him up, what have you. And then Miz gets a security guard to stop Bryan. And Miz hits a glass vase on Daniel Bryan. And Bryan just gets right back up and shit. Again, I feel like there would be more. I feel like they're going to do this thing, or maybe Bryan chases Miz, what have you, something like that. But nonetheless, I look forward to seeing this match. You know, again, there's some of the stuff that from SmackDown Live that makes me really want to go to SummerSlam, believe it or not. But again, I look forward to seeing that match at SummerSlam. I really, really do. We had Shinsuke Nakamura and R-Truth. Let's be real about it. This match, honestly, which is a squash match, obviously, hit the Kinshasa for the 1, 2, 3, and that was it. That was fucking it. Really, to be honest with you, again, R-Truth started the purpose being the comedy act, as he really is. So there you go with that. We had AJ Styles finally speak about Samoa Joe, how they go a long way. As you all know, last week, Samoa Joe on the microphone talked about how his family, Styles' family, want him to lose, how they want Joe to be the WWE champion. He got personal with Styles. He got fucking personal, right? And Styles here just got serious. He got serious because, again, you mess with someone's family, of course it's going to cross out. He made it personal and shit. Talked about how they know each other for so many years, how they share the roads, how they would eat, I guess, frozen pizza back in the day. And now this is where they're at. Like, literally all the friendship for all those years is down the drain and shit, right? And now at SummerSlam, AJ Styles will still be WWE champion. And as a matter of fact, Samoa Joe might not even walk after SummerSlam, right? Keep this in mind, right? After the whole promo was done, You see Samoa Joe watching on a monitor, laughing and giggling and shit with a black eye. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Maybe at a house show. But a serious AJ Styles is always amazing. It's always great. It's always phenomenal. No pun intended. Right? I look forward to this match. Again, I look forward to it. It's just a matter how creative is, how they're booking this match. And not for nothing, they've done a good job thus far. They really have. And I gotta give credit to where credit's due sometimes. We may not always trust WWE creative here, but for this one, I'm standing corrected. I had zero faith in creative. I've had zero faith in them when it comes to Styles and Samoa Joe. Because think about it, right? Look what happened to Styles and Nakamura, right? The dream match that people never saw in WWE, but it happened at Wrestle Kingdom in New Japan, right? And look how that ended up. You know what I mean? And God forbid it's the same thing happened with Samoa Joe. But it should be a fun match. You'll see who wins. A part of me says Joe will actually become the new champion here. But at the same time, hey, if you're AJ Styles, if you retain, the next program, in my opinion, needs to be Randy Orton. Hands fucking down, needs to be Randy Orton. Why the fuck not, right? After this, again, the flower vase happened. The Bludgeon Brothers beat up a jobber tag team. Whatever, and they beat up two jobbers. No one gave a shit. We got the main event. We had the Bar versus the New Day to see who will face the Bludgeon Brothers at SummerSlam, like I mentioned earlier. And I like the fact that this closed the show. Something that was important closed the show here, right? And I like that. Because if it was Monday Night Raw, this shit would have been in the middle of the show. And that's it. But I like the early in the show, they had the New Day. Yeah, last week they were doing commentary, and now they were trying to practice, I guess interviewing, right? So they had Kofi Kingston put on the Logan Paul wig, if you will, and just started, interviewing Big E and Xavier Woods and just having a crazy, nerdy voice and shit like that. I thought it was funny as all hell. I really did. I enjoy shit like that. I enjoy corny comedy in some way, shape, or form. I'm a sucker for it, right? And again, the match itself was amazing. I think every single time these guys go at it, they always hit it out of the park, right? Whether it's the Bar versus the Usos, the New Day versus the New Day versus the Usos, the New Day versus the Bar, any mixture of that, I think it always worked. And I know that JD from New York said it's in his review on SmackDown, and I kind of agree too. Like, they need to really just let these tag teams just let them loose, let them just go out and just tear it up. You know what I mean? It gives those guys some value, meaning to be on the show. You know what I mean? He referenced Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch from NXT versus Undisputed Era, stuff like that, which again I agree with. You look at the tag team division on Raw and SmackDown, it's night and day. It's completely a night and day. While Raw, you have the fucking B team as your tag team champions and the leader of the world. You have, I guess now the revival, right? It's really what you have right now on Raw. On SmackDown Live, you have the Usos, the New Day, the Bar, the Bludgeon Brothers, who are just there. But you kind of get the idea. The tag team divisions from on both brands are just night and day from each other, right? And again, it was a crazy match. There's a moment in this match where Cesaro locked in a sharpshooter. This was near at the end of the match. He locked in a sharpshooter on Big E for like a good, probably, I want to say 3 minutes or so, 4 minutes, right? And Big E was just in this fucking hold. And he was trying to move around. He was on one side, then went to the other side, tried to grab onto the ropes. And just the idea of someone like Big E selling this shit was fucking amazing for what it is. Near the end of it, though, Big E found a way to counter this shit, and they hit the midnight hour, the midnight hour, if you will. If I'm saying if I'm saying the move wrong, I apologize. Okay, they hit the midnight hour. I believe that's the name of the move, right? Yeah, they hit the fucking midnight hour, right, on Cesaro. Again, it was a great match. My only critique is I feel like the wrong team went over here. The wrong team, in my honest opinion, went over. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I don't want to come off like I'm being fucking negative and shit. But how many times have we seen the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers? the bar has not been around, haven't been on TV in such a long time, right? It feels like a long time they haven't been on TV, right? And you bring them back, right, for this tournament, and I feel like, again, the idea of the Bar versus the Bludgeon Brothers, it was a new feud, a new match to do, right? Can you think about it too? On SmackDown, the Bludgeon Brothers went through the Usos, went through the New Day, went through the fucking the Good Brothers, if I mentioned them earlier. But you kind of get the idea, and they haven't faced the Bar yet, so it's a match you could have done at SummerSlam. Hell, I'm even open to the idea of them doing a triple threat match, because that match was so great, literally lasting between the Bar and the New Day. But we'll see. Overall, like I said, though, SmackDown Live was a solid show with some stuff that I kind of, scratched my head to a little bit. Don't get me the fuck wrong. While Raw, like I said earlier, they're not giving a shit to get people invested into SummerSlam, SmackDown Live is actually doing something, and they're putting the effort. And my hat's off to SmackDown Live. I guess also the fact that 2 hours of television is easier than 3 hours, what have you. And we can't wait till next week. I'm actually looking forward to SmackDown next week's Go Home show than I am for Monday Night Raw. I'm telling you that right now. But, guys, give me your thoughts down below in the comment thread of this video. Your thoughts on SmackDown Live from last night. If you enjoyed the show or not. And all that fun stuff. Follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. I'll be back later on today for the NXT review. I just might, or if not, probably tomorrow, one or the other. I will be doing a Q&A this Sunday. So if you have not sent in your questions yet for this Q&A, down below in the description box, there's a link to where I announced the Q&A video, where I announced the Q&A. In that video, in the comment threads of that video, send in your question. 3 questions per person. I will be answering these questions this Sunday here on the channel. All right? So if you're new to this channel, hit that sub button down below. Hit that sub button down below, motherflowers. Let's get to 1,700 subs on the road to 2K. I believe we can get there. Why the fuck not? Follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven, where I tweet throughout all these shows. Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, Impact Wrestling, motherflowers. And above all else, with all you sick, crazy, twisted motherflowers out there. Alright? That's all I'm going to say here, guys. I'm out like Janice Titties, y'all. Peace out, motherflowers.